So I have this smittybilt, 9500 XRC. It was actually a really inexpensive winch. And then I took the steel cable off and I got synthetic winch line, so it's lighter. And I had this on my other 4Runner, and it's been just sitting around, and I really need to get it installed in here. I just want to get it mounted, bolted on there, and then I'll need to figure out where I'm going to put the winch solenoid. That's always a tough part. I don't want to mount it right here, which they show for mounting, because I think that's just a stupid spot. So I need to pull my fair lead off because the winch bolts go through here, through the winch, and I gotta find some bolts that'll work. So I'll be back when I find some bolts. Okay, unfortunately I've only found, well, I did find all the bolts, but this nut is stripped inside, and it's a square nut because it goes in the slot right there, and then it gets pinched in like this, but it's all jacked up and won't thread in, so I have to go see if I can find one of those. But I think for now I'm still going to put this in with 3 bolts, and then I'll just get the bolt and put it in later. Well, I won't hook anything up and use it until I get that bolt done, but yeah, first little hurdle is now I gotta find the square bolts, nuts. Okay, so I thought I was going to be able to lift the winch up through this area, but I can tell right now it is not wide enough. So bumper's got to come off. So I'm going to take the bumper off, and then I'll be back to show you how to mount this. Okay, I got this thing unbolted. Now I'm just ready to lift it off. And it's not fun. That wasn't actually too bad. So, winch bolts here, and those are my brackets for the bumper. It sucks to put back on. So let me get the winch, bolt it on, and show you. And then, just for the heck of it, you can see what it looks like without a bumper on here. Pretty awesome. I think while I have this all apart, I am going to mount my winch controller. I think it's a factory fog light switch. So I need to get to the winch box and figure out where that's going to go. Bolt that up and I'll be back. Okay, that's a pain. So it is now mounted in there though. The hardest part is to hold the fair lead up against the bottom while feeding a bolt up through there into those square nut areas, but it's bolted down. It's going to be good enough to get the bumper back on, then I can tighten the bolts and then get the missing bolt in there. So right now I need to focus on the winch controller. Okay, this is my winch controller, and this is where I had it mounted last time. It's not mounted yet, but I have it here because I want it tucked away, and that's melted because it hits this part of the bumper, so it had to be melted and pushed back. The cool thing is that there's enough gap right here between the body and the bumper to where you can still access the control port if you wanted to use the cable. I have in-cab winch controls, so I will not be using that, but I can still get to it for an emergency. So now I just need to mark this and then drill a couple holes and mount it. cool thing is that I don't have to worry about the factory washer bottle because it's not here. Took it out and did a aftermarket one that's inside the engine bay. So I just need to mark this, drill the holes, mount it, kind of clean up the wiring, and then put the bumper back on. Took the bracket off the back of this, but before I did that, I set the box all the way up in there where I wanted it, and I traced it. So there's a Sharpie line right here, right there. It's like a U shape, so that I can take this, put it up here, mark the 2 holes on the bracket, and then drill them straight through. So that's the next step. Okay, so I got the holes done so that this can mount up. So now I need to put this back on the back of here and then bolt this to that. Okay, now that that's all bolted up solid, see 2 bolt heads. I took the grill off so that I can start running wires, and it's going to be easier with that off. So that's over here sitting on the bench. So now I'll grab my zip ties and I'll start running all the wiring and get all nicely tucked away and get ready to mount. So the cool thing is, if you notice, here's all my terminals right here, and then here's all my wiring. So it's all right there and it'll reach no problem. Okay, all the wiring is tucked. So I started over here, zip tied this stuff back up, came over here, ran it along right here, zip tied it all tight, left this loose. This is loose. These are for the Pia lights. Ran it into here, and then what I did right here is I took some hose, I sliced it down the center, and I lined this hose so that these cords going through don't get chafed or sliced or whatever. So, and then here's my wires that once I button up everything out here, I can come up in here and do the rest. So I think as far as the front end's done, it's all done. So now I'm going to work on putting the bumper back on. Once that's on, I can hook up all the winch connections, and that'll be it. Okay, bumper's back on. Such a huge pain. So now that the bumper's lifted back on, I need to connect the turn signals. I need to connect these 2 lights back up, and then I need to connect all the wires onto the winch. So I think I'm going to do the wires on the winch, which will leave these 2 wires for the battery, and then I got to run this into the cab because that's going to be hooked up to my winch switch, which I'll show you is right here. So this is the in-cab winch switch. Flip it on, flip it on, power it up, in and out. Turn it off. So let me hook up some wires and I'll be back. Okay, I had to take the grill off again so I could actually reach these connections right here because they were kind of hard to reach down below, and I want to make sure and get these boots on. Let me show you. I'm going to make sure and get these protective boots on. So it is all plugged in. Lights are plugged back in. I can now put the grill back on and be done with that. I'll still need to get a bolt for this and then wire that. I just wanted to show you that it works easier to pull that grill out to get to those connections. But no, they're all hooked up. This is going to be fun. I got to get this cable through that grommet in the firewall for the winch controls. So that's what I'll be working on next. Okay, I got the wires run through. It's this harness right here. These are for another switch. Then I had to unhook the gas door and the hood release. So I need to button that stuff up. Here's the seat heaters. But now I need to transfer over this stuff, like the seat heaters, fog light switch, gun holster. I need to put that on here because this one already has the winch switch set up. So I'm going to swap everything over and then I'll be able to put this one back in. Okay, I can finally say I'm done with this. So inside, I've got it all wired up to this switch. All the wires are tucked away. Everything's hooked up back like normal. Up here, I'm all connected. I really don't like this. It's because these terminals are getting kind of full, but that's a future project really soon because I have this kit. So I need to make some new terminals, but these ones will handle whatever I put on there. It's got that long stud on there. So I need to put these on with these cool boots. So that'll clean up that mess, because I don't like that. And this isn't really a mess, but still, these have a much better grounding. So, but let me just show you really quick that it works. You flip the switch, sorry for the buzzing, power it up, in, out, and that's it. Shut her down. So that is finally done, and now all I gotta do is just get the bolt that was stripped for right here and then hook up my hook and put my license plate back on. But all the hard work's done. Getting that bolt will be easy. So winch project is done and ready for winter. Hopefully I don't have to use it all. I really don't want to use it, but it's just nice knowing that little added extra security of going places and not getting it out.